are doing fine at home along with your studies and other activities. So before starting with the class, let's have a look at the thought for the day, and it says, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Yes, we come across many people who talk. I want to do this, I want to do that, I will be doing this and that and that. But when, if you want to do anything, you need to start. Rather than just planning and planning and planning, if there is no action, that planning is of no use. And that's the reason why it is said that the way to get started, if you really want to start with something, the first thing you need to do is to stop talking about it and start doing it. And that's how the thought for the day goes. I hope we all stop talking and start doing our work. So don't wait for completing your work and keep saying that I will do, I'll complete my work. Stop saying that and start doing it. Complete your work much faster. Believe me. So in today's class, we're going to continue with our fourth chapter, the Rattrap from our Flamingo book. We are on page 38. But before this, let us have a look at the previous sessions wherein we saw there was a iron worker, how he was jobless, how he robbed people for living. Then he comes to a place, a forge, wherein he meets the iron master, who mistakes him to be someone else. And he requests the iron worker to come along with him and stay at his home till Christmas evening. But this man who had robbed an old man for 30 kronor, and then he is scared to go with the general. But the iron master is determined to take this man. So he goes, and then his daughter comes here to take. Now let's see whether the daughter really succeeds in taking this iron worker along with her to her home. So we are on page 38, and we're going to start with fourth paragraph. She said this in such a friendly manner that the Rattrap peddler must have felt confident in her. So the girl, she kept on requesting the iron worker, and she said, believe me, because she could see that this iron worker was scared. There was fear in his eyes, fear which a person who had escaped from jail or who had done something wrong would have in his eyes. So she could see that same fear in the iron worker's eyes, so she gives him a promise that don't worry. The way freely you are walking to our house, you will be allowed to walk back with that same freedom from my house. So this assures the peddler that even if they come to know that he has robbed somebody, he might be able to escape. So that assurance, that faith he gets when he looks at the girl. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss, he said. I'll come at once. So now the peddler, he talks. The iron worker talks, and he says, I never knew that you people would be so much worried about me, that you yourself, being a girl, you yourself would come here to take me. And then he says, I am ready to go with you. At once he is ready. So he accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his rags, and followed the young lady out to the carriage. So he at once got ready, and it happens, right? If somebody is saying something, requesting, we sometimes feel hesitated. But again and again. And then again there is a feminism, right? female. So because the female was urging herself, requesting herself, so he gave it and he got ready to go. So he took the fur coat which the valet had brought along with him. Valet, he is a male servant, right, who takes care of the clothes and other things of a male person, the male master. And then he wears it on his all-torn clothes and he gets ready to go with her in the carriage, without granting the astonishment blacksmiths so much as a glance. So he did not even look at the blacksmith, all those people who were there in the fort. He did not even bother to look at them, or just he gave a glance and he quickly walked away. Did not wait there to talk or anything else. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. So now when he is traveling, when he is moving that small distance, whatever it might be, he was covering with the girl, he was covered with the evil forebodings. Now what are forebodings? It is the feeling that something bad will happen. You get those intuitions, right? That something bad is going to happen. And this you only get when you have really done something bad and you have that feeling that you may be caught. Isn't it? Why? The devil didn't take that fellow's money. He thought, now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. So again he goes back to that same thought where he began with the lesson, that the entire world is a rat trap, and if you fall prey to any of the desire, you will be trapped. And then he is trying to find out why he had to rob that old man, why he had to take money from him. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. So now the night is over. Next day, the ironmaster, next day is the Christmas day, ironmaster, he comes into the room for breakfast, and then he again gets reminded, he is again thinking about the soldier whom he had met unexpectedly. All of a sudden in the fort he came across him. Right? So he was thinking about him. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table. So we must try to see that this man eats something good and he becomes healthy. And the girl is busy with she is doing some work on the table, and then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rattraps. And first let us feed him good food so that he becomes healthy. After that, what is the next step? The next step would be that we find some work for this man, so that he doesn't have to spend his life selling rattraps. It is clear that things have gone downhill with him as badly as that, said the daughter. Now daughter says it is very strange. Strange. It is very strange that such bad things can happen to a soldier. I really cannot believe this. Last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. So now this girl, she is doubting on this man. She has a doubt. And she says, even if a person is troubled economically or any other reason, but a person can never forget his mannerisms. And this man, I'm sorry to say, this man last night did not show any signs that he is an educated man. I could not see all those things in him. You must have patience, my little girl, said the father. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. So now, father does not have even a thought that maybe he has mistaken somebody. to be him. And he says, have patience. He's troubled from so many days. Maybe because of all his problems, because of the situation he is right now in. His mind, his senses are not working up to that mark. So have patience. Once he gets a good bath, once he gets good clothes to wear, once he's all clean, maybe we'll be able to see all those things back into him. Last night he was naturally embarrassed. The tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. So he says, last night he was already embarrassed when I asked him to come with me. Right? And he didn't want it to, maybe because of his clothes, because the way he was all shabby. But don't worry. What he says, the tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. Tramp, I've already told you the meaning of the word tramp. A person who wanders on foot from place to place. So he says, once he is dressed in proper clothes and he throws away his old rags, old clothes, all those manners of a tramp will also go away with that. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Yes, now he was truly clean and well dressed. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair and shaved him. Moreover, he was dressed in a good-looking suit of clothes which belonged to the ironmaster. He wore a white shirt and a starched collar and whole shoes. So now, at the time when the daughter and the father were speaking, the door opened and the stranger came in. But he was looking very clean and neat and tidy because the person attendant had bathed him, helped him in shaving and wearing good clothes, good suit he was wearing, and so he entered with properly dressed and good looking, handsome. But although his guest was now so well groomed, the ironmaster did not seem pleased. He looked at him with puckered brow, and it was easy to understand that when he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from the furnace, he might have made a mistake. So now, this man who was very neat and clean and was dressed in best of the clothes, and after having a look at this man, the ironmaster did not feel happy. Why? Because he now sees the man clearly in a daylight. Last night he had seen him in the light of the furnace. Right? But now he is clearly seeing him, and then he realizes that he had made a mistake. He had thought him to be someone which he is not. That means he has mistaken the iron worker to be somebody else. And when he is trying to make out this, he puckers his eyebrows. That is shrinking. So now he understands that he had mistaken the iron worker to be a soldier. But he is not that soldier. When he stood there in broad daylight, it was impossible to mistake him for an old acquaintance. And because he had seen him in the light of furnace, but now since he is looking at him in the clear daylight, he says there is no point of making mistake now he is able to recognize this man, that he is not the one whom the ironmaster thought that the iron worker is. What does this mean? He thundered. He started. What does this mean? What does this mean here? It means, why you didn't tell me before that I am not the one whom you are thinking to be? The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. So, the stranger, the iron worker, he did not think of dissimulating. He did not think of concealing the thought that He saw at once that the splendor had come to an end. And he did not do this. Why? Because all of a sudden, the stranger, the iron worker, could feel that everything has changed. Right? All the magnificence, all the qualities which the old iron master was thinking him to be, they've all disappeared. But he did not even try to speak in front of the iron master. And then, it was not my fault, sir, he said. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader, and I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge. And then he says, I did not say anything. Neither did I accept this. That, yes, I am the person who you are thinking to be. I am that person. I did not accept this. But yes, I did not even deny it. That can be my point, but I did not accept this. And I was continuously requesting you, I was continuously begging you that kindly allow me to be here. I don't want to come to your place. Only allow me to be here in the forge, stay one night here in the forge. But no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags again and go away. And then he says, even now, if I have come here, there is no harm in it. I have not done anything wrong. If you want, I will wear all my old clothes, the rags which I had been wearing, and I will quietly go away from here. Well, said the iron master, hesitating a little, it was not quite honest either. You must admit that. And I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something say in the matter. So now the iron master is saying, well, somewhere or the other you have cheated. You've done wrong. Right? And he says, I would like to take this matter to the sheriff. Sheriff, the judge. Right? I would like to take this matter to the judge. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. So now the iron master, he gets angry. Right? Because before coming to this place, he was already scared of this thought that this man belongs to the armed forces, and if he comes to know about his reality, he would be sent to prison. And the same thing is happening. So he now loses his temper, is angry, and he hits the table with the fist. Now, I am going to tell you, Mr. Iron Master, how things are, he said. So now he is speaking for himself. This whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rings and bits of pork. So again he is repeating his philosophy that this entire world is nothing but only a rat trap. Right? And then what is offered to you? You are offered with good things sometimes. Like cheese. Rings are the shreds of the cheese. Like if you peel out the lemon and all, so you get that zest out of it, so that is known as ring. So just it is like cheese rings or pork in the form of good food, good things you get, and you fall prey to all these things. Set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. So you brought me here to put me into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Iron Master, must remember that a day may come when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork, and then you will get caught in the trap. He says, then remember, if the judge comes and if he puts me in the jail, remember that tomorrow you may fall into the same situation. I am a poor person, so I fall out for cheese and for pork. Small piece will also do for me, and I will be satisfied with that. But you are a rich man. You are a man on position. So, if you fall into such type of condition, situation, your desire would be to get something bigger. That is a big piece of pork. And then remember, he says, you will also fall into the rat trap. You will also be captured by some or the other thing in similar situation. The ironmaster began to laugh. That was not so bad, he said, my good fellow. Perhaps we should let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve. But now, get out of here as fast as you can. So now, the man, he starts laughing. The ironmaster, he starts laughing after listening to the things what the ironworker has said. And then he controls himself and he says, okay, let the judge be at his own home. Today's Christmas evening. I don't want to disturb him, but you should leave my house immediately. Without delay, you should leave my house. But just as the man was opening the door, the daughter said, I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. So as the ironmaster ordered the iron worker to leave the place, the iron worker quietly started going out. But immediately at that moment, the girl comes out and she says that this man should stay here for tonight, for today, for celebrating Christmas. And saying this, she goes inside again. What in the world are you doing? Said the father. The daughter stood there quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. So as she was about to move inside, the father is asking, what are you trying to do? Why are you stopping this man? We know that he is not the soldier. So why do we need him here? He can be in danger. All those things might be. The father is putting the point. But then the girl says, who's quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. So the girl is embarrassed. She is ashamed of something and she did not answer to the question asked by the father. That morning she had felt so happy when she thought how home-like and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor hungry wretch. She could not get away from the idea all at once, and that was why she had interceded for the beggar boy. So, from the moment this man had come to the house, this girl, she might have thought few things, planned few things for this poor man. That okay, I'll do this for this poor man. Because for her also he was not a poor stranger, but some soldier. So she might have made her own plan. And now she doesn't want that this should be spoiled. And that's the reason why she interceded, why she intervened. Talked on behalf of that stranger, and she talks to her father. I'm thinking of this stranger here, said the young girl. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. So now, somewhere the daughter is trying to talk for this man, and she is saying that I have seen this stranger, I have been thinking about this stranger, and then I thought that this poor man, he keeps on walking. It's a trap, right? He keeps on walking the entire year, and he doesn't have any place where he can stay, where he can have that home feeling, isn't it? He is not welcomed anywhere, nobody knows him, nobody welcomes him. Wherever he turns, he is chased up. So wherever, whichever place maybe he is going, people just chase him away, people just throw him out. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross-examined. I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. So he is always, because he is into thievery, he robs people. So she says that today I want him to stay at our home and enjoy just this 1 year in the entire year. And out of 365 days, I want him to stay here 1 day and enjoy, have that feeling of how home is, what is a place called home, how it is. So I want him to enjoy all these things. I want after that, maybe tomorrow he can leave the place and go away from here. So, all of a sudden the girl is so thoughtful. She is so kind. She is trying to be kind, generous towards this trap. Okay? So with this note, we stop today. We'll be continuing with this in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep experiencing, keep safe. Bye-bye.